The date is the 12th of June 1996. My name is Naaman Belkind. I'm doing the interview with Yaakov Handeli. The date today is the 12th of June 1996, and the interview is being done in Jerusalem, in Israel. Mr. Handeli's date of birth was 1927. He was born in the city of Salonica in Greece. No, you please start. You can say.
Oh, my name is Jacob Handeli, and I was born in Salonica, Greece. In 1933, when Hitler came to power, the Jewish community of Salonica wanted to be a modern Jewish community. And I would like to explain. A modern Jewish community meaning that the rabbis that we had in those days, they were dressed with a black kind of a robe, like the chief Sephardic rabbi of Israel, called Rishon LeZion. They used to be called Chachamim, meaning wise men. And the chief rabbi of Salonica was a kind of a Jew that he will even not shake hands with the goyim. And they had a problem. And the problem was that the Jewish boys had to serve in the Greek army. And they had to swear to loyalty to the country.
Allegiance.
And the Archbishop of the Greek Orthodox with the holy water and everything, And here there was something missing. And they were looking for, if you want, a PR. Public relations. And from the Jewish community, 2 members of the Jewish community went to Europe and tried to find a rabbi which is a representative rabbi, a rabbi with knowledge and representation, if I may say so. And from all the places, in Berlin, in Charlottenburg, part of Berlin, they found a rabbi with the name of Dr. Rabbi Koretz. Dr. Koretz was born in Poland. He studied in yeshiva in Poland, and then the family sent him to Vienna. In Vienna, he became the title of rabbi. He went, I'm talking about a rabbi, Orthodox rabbi. And then he went to the university and he got a PhD in philosophy, if I'm not mistaken. Now, in 1933, they made a contract with him. They brought him to Salonica, a very educated man, knowing fluent German, Polish and Yiddish, but not Ladino. In a very short time, 3 months, that he had already private teachers to teach him Greek and Latino. Now, he became the chief rabbi, again I'm saying the chief rabbi of Salonica, meaning mostly a representative rabbi, a PR, public relations. Now, this I'm telling you because this has to do with the 2 officers. When the 2 officers came and established themselves in this famous villa, they called, this is the situation.
Yeah.
And so the Germans immediately called him and told him that they need a list of all the Jewish people in Salonica, about 60,000 Jewish people, and it's not so easy to do it. So he has no main power. So he sent some of his clerks to the schools in the city where Jewish students are. There are Jewish schools also. And they came also to my school. With the permission of my father, I volunteered to do the registration. And this registration has to be done. First he asked for a week, and then they came to understanding that in 2 weeks. So 60,000 almost people, you have to do it in 2 weeks, and you have no manpower. So I was one of those children, of young people who volunteered. Early in the morning, we used to get into the Jewish community office. We get forms, and we used to go from one neighborhood to another, from one Jewish house to another, and with those forms, we used to write the names and the profession and everything of all those Jewish people. Now, when we used to come back in the evening, most of the time, two young people, like two boys or boy and a girl. And with the permission of my father, I have to tell you, and it's very important, this is one of the things that hurts me more than anything else, because I believe deep in myself that in a way I helped I helped the Germans to register the Jewish people. So
I understand that the rabbi in Athens didn't cooperate with the Germans in the same way.
But you have to take in consideration that the rabbi in Athens, Rabbi Barzilai, he was more clever because he knew already what happened to the city of Salonica. Mm-hmm. He, in those days, was under the occupation of the Italians, mm-hmm. and the Italians the Italians were wonderful to the Jews. Mm-hmm. There's a matter of fact, many Jewish people of Salonica tried to get into Athens to escape from the German occupation to the Italian occupation. And I have many friends, and it's a big history. The consul general prints special passports. He printed by himself to help Jewish people to escape into Athens. Nevertheless, after 2 weeks working very hard from early in the morning in the evening, and that rabbi, he in a way, he also blessed us for the important work that we are doing. And after the registration was over, immediately a neighborhood in the name of Baron Hirsch, which was a Jewish neighborhood for many, many years of poor Jewish people, where I went to register those Jews, never saw poverty in my life, because I used to live in a golden cage. And what I saw, it's unbelievable. And when all the registration was ready, immediately the yellow star was printed, mm-hmm. and we had to wear the yellow star. From 4 years old child into 80, 90 years old men, we had to be with the yellow star. The yellow star is at the number, and the number at the identity card. And now there are many things that Jews cannot do. Not only we cannot go to a movie, we cannot get out of our house after the dark when the sun is down. So, and immediately they took this neighborhood, which was about 500 meters from the main railway of Salonica, in the name of Baron Hirsch, and they made it to a ghetto.
Mm-hmm. You had to move
ghetto
from your neighborhood into this ghetto.
When I, of course, but the ghetto was surrounded by a wall and barbed wire and watchtowers and gates. A gate to get in and a gate to get out into the railway, into those special wagons of animals, which we were transferred into Poland. Now, when the ghetto was already established, in the meantime, Rabbi Koretz became the Judenrat. Anything he said, this was done. He cooperated, not only him, that was also the chief of the police, mm-hmm. and it's a big story. And so when the ghetto was established, then the rumors were that we are going to Poland. To Poland. No one mentioned the name of Auschwitz. The name which was mentioned was Krakow. Now, it's very important. Krakow, the Jewish people of Krakow, and I'm talking already in beginning of 1943, the Jewish people of Krakow are going to receive us with open arms.
That's what was said.
This is what he said.
Yeah.
He went from one synagogue to another, and he spoke perfect Ladino. And he said, now I knew him personally because of the Jewish community. Then he said, I lived in Germany, the rabbi lived in Germany for many years, in Austria. And he says, I know the German people. They are people with science. They are people with tarbut, with culture, and nothing is going to happen. I lived with them. Now, why do I have to go to Poland? Because they are fighting against the communists. Listen, not what I heard. I was there in the synagogue of my neighborhood, Bet El, where my father took me, and I heard what he said. He said, we have to be very nice to the Germans because they are fighting against, and if I may use the word, he says against the rates. Because the communists were raped, yes? And there is nothing to be worried. They are fighting. We are going to, they need manpower, and we have to go to help them. And there is nothing to be afraid about. First of all, you can change your money from drachmot into zlotys. And my father was a naive Jewish man. He went and he took me into one of the banks that the Germans opened, a branch of a bank, and he changed anything he had. He says, now I have money. I have to tell you that he took me to a shop and he bought tools, because he says, I know how to build. There is nothing to be afraid. I have money. I know how to build. I have 2 sons. I have you. And there is no problem. Now, the Jewish people of Krakow, they're waiting for us. Now, my friend, you know, Krakow is only 45, 50 kilometers from Auschwitz. Mm. Now, if I tell you that people bought pieces of land in the outskirts of Krakow, you will never believe me. If you go with me to Auschwitz, you will find the tickets of the railway that the Jewish community had. People had to buy their own fare to go from Salonica to Auschwitz. Unbelievable. Because Jewish people, now when I speak to the surgeons and I speak to the secondary school children, youth, and 18 times already in Poland, they ask me, why you did not know? How should we know? We were in a corner of Europe with a different language. Mm-hmm. So this is the situation. And my father, he says, there is no problem. We're going to Poland as quick as possible. And here, and what the rabbi said, those people who are thinking to be married, they should marry before we go into Poland. Why? Because the Jewish community of Krakow is going to be helpful not to have single people in a way, but very important to be married, so they can accommodate into a housing project or something like this. So marriages were done in the ghetto and outside of the ghetto by Seretna, like a factory.
Like a moving
yes.
belt. Yeah.
So my 2 brothers, who I knew the 2 girls for many years, but my oldest sister, I never met this boy. I never know who is his name until today. So in one night, I participate in 6 weddings, 3 of my own family and 3 people I don't know. The marriage certificate was very important. When we come to Poland, then they should know they should be married.
What was the real reason behind this?
The propaganda machine of the Germans, together with the rabbi, to make it as easy as possible. Now people will not think anything else. Now marrying and changing the money and buy pieces of land. Yeah. Okay, this is the situation, and I'll make it short. And the time comes, the first transport is out, the second transport is out, the third transport is out, and my father wants to get out of Salonica. He is 100% sure that the Jews of Krakow are waiting for us. I told you.
Yeah.
He has money,
Yeah.
he has tools, he has everything. And once the ghetto is empty, and the people in what we call they took neighborhoods and they made it into sub-ghetto, meaning that there is no barbed wire or anything, but you cannot go out when the sun is down. So when the ghetto is empty and there is no communication between the ghetto and those neighborhoods, when the ghetto is empty and the transports are already moving, so the people are taking into ghetto. The ghetto is again full, and the railway comes, about 2,200, 2,400 people. Every transport is moving from Salonica to Poland.